story begins with Hae-sung sleeping on the school's rooftop when he sees a rocket in the sky and falls down. Suddenly, a bunch of other students arrive, and he notices that they do not belong to his school, but their uniforms are similar. Hae-sung quickly rushes toward his classroom but realizes he can't recognize any of the kids. The teacher arrives and notices that Sung is wearing their 10-year-old school uniform. He asks the students if Sung belongs there, and they say no. Confused and scared of getting caught, Hae-sung rushes outside and sees that the year is 2017. He is 12 years in the future, so he quickly thinks about his family and runs toward his house. Meanwhile, Jung-won, Sung's girlfriend from 12 years ago, is traveling by bus in the same area. As the bus stops, she sees Sung from the corner of her eye and quickly tells the driver to stop. She gets off, but a train arrives and blocks her path. She waits for it to pass, but Sung disappears. Hae-sung finally arrives at his home, but he doesn't recognize anything. When he enters the house, he sees someone else's family picture instead of his. Hae-sung is confused and scared at the same time. He is about to leave the premises when the house owner arrives. The man grabs Sung by the collar, thinking he's a thief. Sung tries to explain, but a single shove sends the man flying into the wall. Sung has superpowers. He apologizes to the owner and picks up the fruit, but the old bastard hits Sung in the head. Meanwhile, Sung's friends are mourning at his grave. It's been 12 years since he passed. Hae-sung wakes up in the hospital, and a police officer tells him he was trespassing. The officer asks for his birth date, and Sung replies that he was born in 1987. The officer thinks he's joking and takes him to the police station. Hae-sung insists that he was born in 1987, and the officer gets annoyed, thinking he's just trying to cover up something. The officer decides to check the records and, to his surprise, Sung really was born in 1987. He tells him he looks very young, but the officer nearly shits his pants when he sees that Sung was declared dead in 2005. Scared and clueless, the officer tells him to wait and leaves. Meanwhile, Sung's wound starts itching. The officer goes outside, trying to process what he just saw, and Sung's friend Shin arrives. He's a senior officer. The man tells Shin what happened, but Hae-sung has already left the office. Sung goes to the washroom and takes off the bandage, seeing that his wound is completely healed. Confused, he covers his head with his hair. Just as he's about to leave, he accidentally bumps into another officer. Turns out the officer is Shin. He instantly recognizes his childhood friend after seeing Sung's name tag. Sung is happy to see someone who knows him, but Shin isn't. He had just returned from visiting Sung's grave. Shin stumbles and falls to the ground. Sung tries to talk to him and asks a heap of questions, but Shin passes out, thinking the ghost is about to take him out. Shin takes Hae-sung to the kitchen and gives him noodles. However, he is still scared, so he touches him with trembling hands. But Shin is relieved after touching Hae-sung, realizing he is real. Sung asks about Jung-won, wondering how she is doing and where she is. Shin replies that they don't have any contact with her. Sung asks why they would do such a thing. Shin says that it happens in life, but he then questions Hae-sung if he remembers anything about that day, the day he died in a car accident. Sung says he remembers everything. Turns out they were preparing for their graduation pictures, and Sung was enjoying his time with Jung-won. However, nobody was expecting what was about to happen on Sung's birthday. The next day, he cooked food for his family but noticed that his younger brother had already left for school. He was the top student in his class, and everyone wanted him to become a doctor. It was also Hae-sung's birthday, and Jung-won was waiting for him when Sung playfully bonked her on the head. They left for school together, and after arriving, Sung went to give his younger brother his breakfast. But when he reached his class, one of the classmates told him that Young-jun had been bullied. He rushed to his brother and found him severely beaten. Sung tried to comfort him, but Yoon was pissed because they had beaten him up due to Sung. Hae-sung quickly rushed to his classroom, where he found Cheol and kicked his ass. He told Cheol that he would kill him, and Kyung Cheol pissed him off even more by saying that his younger brother wasn't even his real brother. The classmates barely managed to separate the two. That night, Sung ditched his work to buy a present for Jung-won, but it turned out she was already at his house planning to surprise him. Hae-sung called her and said he was heading to her house, but Jung-won covered it up by saying she had left her wallet in the school's art room and asked him to bring it. They would meet at his house later. Turns out they still needed some time to prepare for the birthday. So, Hae-sung went to the school to get the wallet, but he didn't find anything and decided to leave. He accidentally stepped on someone's toe and, to his shock, saw Kyung Cheol lying unconscious on the floor with blood everywhere. Hae-sung propped him against the locker and tried to wake him, but he didn't respond, so Sung got on his bicycle to get help. But things took a dark turn when a speeding car hit Hae-sung. Back at his house, everyone was ready to surprise him, but Jung-won wondered what was taking him so long. Suddenly, the wind blew open the door, and they thought it was Sung, but he was already far gone. After remembering everything, Hae-sung went outside, depressed, and coincidentally, Jung-won was also standing on the other side of the road. A train passed by once again, and this time, neither of them noticed the other. Jung-won grabbed a taxi to leave while Sung walked toward the tracks. Shin came looking for Sung, but Jung-won had already left. He found Sung, and Hae-sung started crying, asking if he was still dead. In frustration, Sung started running when a car appeared once again, reminding him of what happened 12 years ago. But this time, Shin saved him. Hae-sung asked Shin if he was a ghost and then started screaming, which destroyed the whole street. Shin decided to take him to his grave and explained that his grandma had died 12 years ago. However, he didn't have any contact info for his other siblings, though he knew where the youngest brother worked. Sung got excited and asked where he worked, so the two went to the office. When they reached the office, Sung mentioned that his youngest brother was a lazy ass and asked what kind of work he did. Shin tried to dodge the question when a lady called out to him. Her name was Jae-young, and she was one of their classmates. She saw Sung's name tag and asked if he was Sung Hae-sung. Sung smiled, and the lady fainted in disbelief. However, a strange man nearby also noticed Sung's presence. Sung couldn't do anything but watch, so they decided to change his appearance. He changed his clothes and wore a cap to go to his brother's place. On the way, a man bumped into him. There were 3 of them, and the moneylender told Hae-chul, Sung's brother, to teach him a lesson. Hae-chul beat the crap out of him. They went inside, and Hae-sung followed them. The moneylender told Hae-chul he needed to collect money from someone. Hae-chul was happy until he found out it was Jung-won. Meanwhile, Hae-sung started hearing noises and discovered his new ability. He could hear anyone from anywhere. He used this ability to track Hae-chul and overheard him telling the moneylender that he couldn't take money from Jung-won. So, the two started beating Hae-chul, and Hae-sung rushed in and opened the door. Hae-chul didn't recognize him and quickly dashed out while the moneylender tried to follow, but Sung grabbed his wrist and sent him flying into a shelf. The other thug picked up a metal bat, but Ha-sung beat him too. He asked where Hae-chul was heading, and the man gave him the location. Ha-sung got on a bus to go to Jung-won's house. However, the same old man from before was on the bus and asked Sung if he was new here. Hae-sung got confused as the man asked how long he had been here, as if he knew about his powers. Hae-sung didn't answer, and the man got off at his stop. Meanwhile, Jung-won was working at the restaurant. Min-jun was talking to someone and Jung-won messed everything up while listening in. Min went to the rooftop and Jung-won followed. She asked if he wasn't going to Paris because of her, and Min confirmed it. Suddenly, Jung-won started going off about how foolish Min was to think she'd fall for him. As she left, he accidentally dropped the page where she had written her speech. Min-jun read it and started smiling. Everyone played games during break, but Jung-won didn't join. At night, when everyone left, the head chef told her to clean up before going. Meanwhile, Hae-sung had already reached her place and was waiting for her when a car pulled up. He stood up, but it turned out to be the moneylenders and their goons. They beat Hae-sung mercilessly and left him nearly dead. As this happened, Jung-won finished work and headed home. When she arrived, she saw the blinking light, and there, she found the unconscious body of Hae-sung. She drops her bag, completely shocked. She can't believe what she's seeing. She brings Hae-sung to her apartment and tries to call emergency services, but stops when she hears him quietly say her name. She puts down the phone, grabs the first aid kit, and starts treating his injuries. As she wraps his wounds, she stares out the window, thinking back to the day everything changed. Back then, while everyone else was heading to the cemetery, Jung-won ran to the photo studio. Hae-sung's classmates were already there, confused about where she went. Moon-sik blamed her for everything. Hae-sung's grandmother began to cry. Then Jung-won showed up and gave the old woman a photo, saying a smiling picture of Hae-sung would be better. Everyone there broke down in tears. Now in the present, Jung-won gets ready to leave for work and leaves a note behind for Hae-sung. Once she's gone, his wounds begin healing fast. But instead of going to work, Jung-won meets her friend Jin-ju at a park and tells her she doesn't want to go home or deal with work. Jin-ju figures something must have happened at her place. Maybe debt collectors showed up. Her phone rings, and she steps away to answer it. It's Shin Ho-bang. He says he has something important to tell her. Jin-ju threatens him for messing around, but he tells her to be quiet and drops the news. Hae-sung is alive. She's shocked, and he tells her to bring Jung-won with her since he's calling everyone together. Later, they all gather at Shin's place. When Jung-won and Jin-ju arrive, everyone starts assuming Jung-won had been hiding Hae-sung the whole time. Meanwhile, Hae-sung wakes up in the apartment and calls out, but no one responds. He finds the note Jung-won left, telling him to go to the hospital. He doesn't realize it's from her. As he turns around with a glass of water, he sees her photos on the wall and smiles. Shin tells everyone that he saw Hae-sung with his own eyes and even shows them his uniform as proof. He swears he wouldn't go this far just to joke about a dead friend. He urges everyone to be careful, saying Hae-sung could be a ghost or something supernatural. Jung-won suddenly remembers last night and realizes it was truly Hae-sung lying there. She runs back home, but when she gets there, she doesn't see him and assumes he's gone. Just then, Hae-sung steps out of the bathroom. She's stunned, and he's full of joy to finally see her again. Their moment is interrupted by the landlady, who barges in. She demands to know who the boy is, and Young-won lies, saying he's her younger cousin. The landlady starts yelling about unpaid rent, saying it's been 3 months. Hae-sung gets angry and tells her to shut up, but Young-won holds him back and promises to pay next week. The landlady leaves, and Hae-sung is furious. He asks how she's been surviving, taking loans and avoiding bills. At the restaurant, her co-worker tells the head chef that Young-won hasn't shown up, and Min-jun overhears. He decides to check on her and finds her sitting on a bench. He asks if she's quitting, but she says she's just worried about the debt. While walking home, Hae-sung spots them chatting. Min jokes that the chef might break her legs for skipping work. As Min walks away, Sung approaches Jung-won and gives her 2 completely melted popsicles. He accuses her of lying to him when they were younger and demands an apology. But Young-won takes it seriously and begins to cry, thinking he came back only for that. Hae-sung tries to explain it was a joke, but she tells him to leave and walks off. He goes to the riverbank, remembering the time after he died. Kids would throw rocks at his house, calling him a murderer. Young-won had yelled at them to stop, defending him. Back at the apartment, Hae-sung decides to leave, but just outside he runs into his younger brother, Hae-cheol. Hae-cheol panics and tries to run but trips. He apologizes and tells Hae-sung to go away. Hae-sung asks why he became a gangster, and Hae-cheol says it's all he could do, being known as the brother of a murderer. Hae-sung is stunned as his brother runs off. He calls Shin and demands to know if he was really the murderer. Shin avoids the topic at first, but when they meet, he explains that people assumed it was Hae-sung because of the blood on him. After his death, Young-won blamed herself and stopped going to school. She thought she caused his death by messing around with him. Shin also says that when Hae-sung's grandmother was in the ICU, only Young-won took care of her, and she had to borrow money from everyone to manage. Hae-sung realizes how wrong he's been. He rushes back to Young-won and tells her he made a mistake. He says she's not to blame for anything, and he's not a murderer. He wants her to stay by his side from now on. Hae-sung hugs Jung-won and she starts crying. After a moment, he asks if she's okay with him staying over, since it's a single woman's apartment. Jung-won says it's not a problem. Hae-sung offers to leave if she wants, but Young-won tells him to sleep on the couch while she'll use her room. She still thinks he's the same pervert from before, and remembers how people used to call him overly obsessed with that stuff. Hae-sung senses what she's thinking. They start cleaning the apartment together. While helping out, Hae-sung accidentally picks up her underwear. Later, they try to watch TV, but there's no signal, so they decide to rest. Jung-won stumbles and knocks over a bottle. Hae-sung picks it up and realizes it's the bottle cap from the drink they shared back in Seoul. The memory hits. Young-won had once asked Hae-sung to go with her to Seoul. He could tell something was bothering her. She told him she found her mother's address. She lives in Seoul. They went together, and Young-won saw her mother for the first time in 7 years, but her mother was already living happily with a new family. Young-won tried to talk to her, but the woman panicked at seeing the daughter she had abandoned. She told Young-won to go away. Her husband came out and asked who Young-won was. Her mother lied and said she was just looking for a friend's place. They left Young standing there. Hae-sung got angry and smashed their car's windshield with a brick. A police officer saw it and chased them. Jung-won fell, but Hae-sung helped her run away. He patched her up when they got home. That night, she wanted a beer, but Hae-sung reminded her they were underage and still in school uniforms. She got up despite her injury, so Hae-sung gave in and went to quietly grab a can from a sleeping shop owner. Jung-won joked about police being around, which scared him. After drinking, Hae-sung pulled off the can ring and put it on her finger. The next day, he walked her to the bus stop and told her he would meet his brother after a long time. But when Hae-cheol saw him, he ran, thinking it was a ghost. Shin stopped him and told him to talk to his brother. Hae-sung asked Cheol to call the gangsters. When they arrived, Hae-sung beat them up using his powers, throwing them like toys. He warned them to leave his brother alone, never show up again, and forget about charging Young-won any more interest. The gangsters agreed. He left with Cheol and they sat in a park. Hae-sung said things could be different now, but Cheol didn't believe it. He said no one would give him a job because he's a killer's brother. Hae-sung explained he didn't kill anyone. When he got to the school, Kyung Cheol was already knocked out, and while he went to get help, he was hit by a car. Cheol said nobody would believe that, and he walked away. Shin later joined and told Cheol to eat with them. Elsewhere, Min-jun and Jung-won were at a restaurant when Seo-won showed up with Yong-jun, Hae-sung's brother. He was there to meet Min-jun. Back with Hae-sung, Shin gave him a new phone and told Cheol to add his number. Cheol did, and suddenly got a call from his girlfriend. Hae-sung teased him and asked if he could add more contacts. Cheol said he didn't know any others because the siblings all went their separate ways. Jun never contacted anyone after joining med school. Young-in graduated and moved to Seoul, and Suji was taken in by someone else. Hae-sung got mad hearing how Jun abandoned everyone after going to med school. He decided to go find him. Meanwhile, June met Min Jun and saw Jung Won working there. He went to speak to her. He told her he's a doctor now at Seong Hospital, and the girl with him is his fiancée, the daughter of the hospital owner. Jung Won congratulated him and asked him for a favor. June said no one knows he has siblings, so she should keep it that way. Jung Won agreed, but warned him that if the others found out, especially Hae Sung, he'd lose it. June didn't care. He told her to forget the past and move on. He returned to the hospital, but trouble was on its way. Hae Sung had reached the hospital. While June was having tea with his fiancée and her mother, a nurse told him a student named Hae Sung was here. June froze in fear. Hae Sung walked in and told June that his brother was back. But June didn't want anyone to know, so he acted like he didn't recognize him and called security. They pushed Hae Sung out, but he kept shouting that he was June's older brother. June kept pretending. Hae Sung lost it, threw the guards aside, and walked up to June, who was now shaking on the floor. Suddenly, the old man appears again. Hae Sung tries to push him away, but the old man does not even move. He has powers like Sung, but stronger. He grabs Hae Sung and takes him to the parking lot. He throws Hae Sung into a pillar and then onto a car windshield. The old man warns Sung to be careful and not to be reckless, or everyone will be in danger. Hae Sung asks the old man's name, but the man leaves. Then Hae Sung gets a call from Shin. Shin is with Jin Ju, but Hae Sung can't hear Shin because his phone is broken. Hae Sung stands up and waits for his wounds to heal. At night, he goes to pick up Jung Won. While waiting, Min Jun comes out and asks if Hae Sung is waiting for someone. Hae Sung says he is waiting for Jung Won. Jung Won comes out too. Min Jun asks who the young man is. Jung Won says Hae Sung is her younger cousin. Min Jun greets him, but Hae Sung does not like the rich kid. After Min Jun leaves, Hae Sung tells Jung Won he wants to drink a beer. She asks why, and he repeats the same words she said the first time they drank. Hae Sung tries to buy a beer but is too young. He puts it back and asks Jung Won to buy it. She teases him but agrees. Hae Sung drinks the whole bottle fast but says he is fine. After a few minutes, he gets drunk and starts teasing people on the street. He calls an old man Baldy. Then he and Jung Won run away before they cause trouble. Jung Won takes him home and says he has the worst hangover. While drunk, Hae Sung tells her he met Cheol and Young Jun today. Jung Won asks what his brother said, and Hae Sung says he ruined Cheol's life. Young Jun looks at him like a stranger. Hae Sung says if he had known his siblings would be so ungrateful, he would have enjoyed high school more. As the oldest sibling, he thought taking care of others was his main job, so he gave up his school life for them, but now they do not care. Then he falls asleep. The next moment, he wakes up and sees his childhood friends around him. Everyone is shocked to see him. Moonsik asks if he remembers them. Hae Sung says he remembers all of them. Jinju hugs him. Everyone has tears in their eyes because they are happy to see each other. The next day, Hae Sung goes with Shin to the place where he was hit by a car. He tells Shin he was riding his bike fast, and there were no lights when the car came from his left. Shin tells him the car belonged to Tae-hoon's father, but during the police investigation, Tae-hoon said his driver was driving. No one saw the accident. Then Cheol arrives and wants to kill whoever hit Hae Sung. He says he and Suji were at home. Jung Won was at the police station, and Grandma was at the hospital with Young In. Young Jun was missing and arrived late that night. Shin says Jun told the police that all of them were home